Next, according to effectiveness, again, it's not something Qualys invented, it's risk management practice, it's reduction of vulnerabilities. And here's something interesting, because if you work on the level of vulnerabilities, you're making your infrastructure more resilient to any attacks, right? So this is something you can do, because vulnerabilities, they are on your infrastructure, they are on your network, you have access to the resources, and you can actually guard those resources from any incident happening. The third, let's say, in terms of effectiveness, or less effective means of reducing the risk, is reduction of asset value, or reduction of criticality. Can it be applied often? Not really. Because that would mean you have to reduce the criticality of your resources. So you would end up with turning off your banking systems, right? Making sure your billing, well, your personalized billing systems are not available for the end customers, and you would lose revenues. So, interesting enough, these three, out of these three, you can actually effectively manage risks and really put your money into, invest your money into something effective if that affects vulnerabilities. When I just started my career 10 years ago, about such technologies as intrusion detection technology started to appear on the market. And on the PowerPoint presentations and PDF files, it sounded so cool that finally we will be able to catch hackers, right? Today, people are really somehow skeptic. Now, nobody's speaking about IDS. People move to IPS, which is something between these two. But in fact, detection and recovery, they do not reduce any risk. Why? Because they're not influencing risk directly. When you have something detected, what would you do? You can learn, but it's post-factum. Incident has already happened, and some tool just logged you an event telling you, hey, someone from that IP just stole your data, right? Just 2 milliseconds ago. How good is that, right? And recovery, although recovery or disaster recovery is a part of overall risk management process, it doesn't reduce risk. It simply reduces the losses you suffer when some incident occurs, right? You agree? The incident happens. That's it. Okay, so why things really happen and why vulnerabilities are so important. I remember I had my first business trip to Ukraine. Just, checked in the hotel, turned the TV on, and there was a journalist speaking with a hacker whom he met in some nice square in Moscow. And basically, BBC journalist asked the hacker, okay, so can you describe who are you and what you do? And he says, well, I'm a businessman like everybody else, and what I do is my business, right? He said, well, how is that? How hacking can be a business? And he actually told a very interesting stuff that I usually repeat to all my customers. He said simple thing, I have products, I have maintenance, I have services, right? My product is a tool that I can create you for $400, right? To achieve specific, well, result. Hack a target, steal a data, but I'm just giving you a CD with a tool, tailor tool specifically for you, and you use it on your own risk, right? This is my product, $400. If you pay me $2,000, I will include an annual maintenance fee. So it means I give you the same CD, but during the term of the year, I will be able to prepare up to another 5 attacks, provided your target implements some countermeasure for the first attack, right? And for $4,000, he said, I take the risk myself. You just tell me, you just name me what needs to be done, and I will already use my own tools, my own know-how, which could involve, I don't know, anything, social engineering and stuff, to get that result delivered directly to your hands. Normal business, like we are involved on a daily basis, right? So things happen. Why does it happen? Because, well, it brings money for people. It's just business like our business. We just don't speak about that. Incident happens every day. Sometimes you learn, sometimes, even government tries to hide that data from you. Interesting enough, what hackers are saying about that. I'm always asking why hackers are not telling you to buy a new Cisco firewall, not to buy a new intrusion detection system, or buy another solution. They tell that the countermeasure that will protect you if some bad guy really tries to hack you and scan you, is to scan your system first. And not only scan, right, as normal scanners do, but actually address the problem. So it means fix vulnerabilities, right? Remove that. Create your infrastructure, or make your infrastructure more resilient and invulnerable to attacks. So fair enough process, which is very easily defined. You have to define what level of security you need to achieve, right? Then you have to measure how far you are. You have to do like a gap analysis, scan your resources, see what vulnerabilities you found. You have to eliminate those, remediate those, audit, and document them. And interesting enough, Qualys as a company has been established 10 years ago, and from nothing, we actually, last year, based on IDC reports, we are now considered a #1 vendor in the vulnerability management area. So in 10 years, remarkable results, mainly based on the model that allows you to achieve results, really implement something that manages your vulnerability and mostly affects your overall business risk with no software to install and maintain. How is that possible, right? I mean, some of you have already met here in Romania, and some of you may know about the Qualys, but it's a solution for which basically you need, this I will just skip. What you would need only to have a web browser. That's it, what you need. Who's using Gmail? Yeah. Who's using e-banking system? Yeah. What is that you're using? It's the same approach, software as a service. Bank has an information system, right? And you work with it. Gmail has a mailing system, so you don't have to install, you don't have to buy Microsoft Outlook, install it, right? So this is absolutely the same. The only difference is that for internal scanning, which is, let's say, internal vulnerability detection, we require you to just take, as part of the service, just a small appliance and plug it in, and forget about it. Why we need an appliance? Well, we're not hackers. We're not hacking through a firewall inside your internal system, right? So this infrastructure actually allows us to do 500 million IP audits per year in 85 countries. Now it's 86 because I just returned from Kazakhstan 2 weeks ago, so regards from Borat. And it enables our tool to scale to really magnificent environments, magnificent scale. This company from Forbes 50 is actually Daimler, so if anybody is driving a Mercedes, so be sure that all Mercedes production process is actually protected. It's all by Qualys. They managed around 700,000 unique IP addresses with no software that they run on their infrastructure. What that means, it's basically the amount you pay for Qualys, and our prices start from around 3,000 euros per year, which is a really small one, right? Yeah. You could scale to these sizes, right? And I'll later show you some of our customers, just brief tour, and we'll finish my presentation.